number 46. Ta ev sabijah samadhi. These concentrations are with seed. Commentary on Sri Patanjali Yoga Sutra by Swami Vivekananda. These do not destroy the seeds of past actions and thus cannot give liberation, but what they bring to the yogi is stated in the following aphorism. Number 47. Nirvichar Vaisharadhe Adhyatma Prasadah. The concentration without discrimination being purified, the chitta becomes firmly fixed. Number 48. Ritambara Tatra Pragya. The knowledge that is called filled with truth. Number 49. Shrutanuman Pragya Bhyam Anya Vishya Visheshartha Tvata. The knowledge that is gained from testimony and inference is about common objects. That from the samadhi just mentioned is of a much higher order, being able to penetrate where inference and testimony cannot go. Commentary on Sri Patanjali Yoga Sutra by Swami Vivekananda. The idea is that we have to get our knowledge or ordinary objects by direct perception and by inference therefrom and from testimony of people who are competent. By people who are competent, the yogis always mean the rishis or the seers of the thoughts recorded in the scriptures, the Vedas. According to them, the only proof of the scriptures is that they were the testimony of competent persons. Yet they say the scriptures cannot take us to realization. We can read all the Vedas and yet will not realize anything. But when we practice their teachings, then we attain to that state which realizes what the scriptures say, which penetrates where neither reason nor perception nor inference can go, and where the testimony of others cannot avail. This is what is meant by the aphorism. Realization is real religion, all the rest is only preparation. Hearing lectures or reading books or reasoning is merely preparing the ground. It is not religion. Intellectual assent and intellectual dissent are not religion. The central idea of the yogis is that just as we come in direct contact with objects of the senses, so religion even can be directly perceived in a far more intense sense. The truths of religion as God and soul cannot be perceived by the external senses. I cannot see God with my eyes, nor can I touch Him with my hands, and we also know that neither can we reason beyond the senses. Reason leaves us at a point quiet, indecisive. We may reason all our lives, as the world has been doing for thousands of years, and the result is that we find we are incompetent to prove or disapprove the facts of religion. What we perceive directly, we take as the basis, and upon that basis we reason. So it is obvious that reasoning has to run within these bounds of perception. It can never go beyond. The whole scope of realization, therefore, is beyond sense perception. The yogis say that man can go beyond his direct sense perception and beyond his reason also. Man has in him the faculty, the power of transcending his intellect, even a power which is in every being, every creature. By the practice of yoga, that power is aroused, and then man transcends the ordinary limits of reason and directly perceives things which are beyond all reason. Number 50. Tajya sanskaro anya sanskar pratibandhihi. The resulting impression from this samadhi obstructs all other impressions. Commentary on Sri Patanjali Yoga Sutra by Swami Vivekananda. We have seen in the foregoing aphorism that the only way of attaining to that superconsciousness is by concentration, and we have also seen that what hinders the mind from concentration are the past sanskaras, impressions. All of you have observed that when you are trying to concentrate your mind, your thoughts wander. When you are trying to think of God, that is the very time these sanskaras appear. At other times, they are not so active, but when you want them not, they are sure to be there, trying their best to crowd in your mind. Why should that be so? Why should they be much more potent at the time of concentration? It is because you are repressing them and they react with all their force. At other times, they do not react. How countless these old past impressions must be, all lodged somewhere in the chitta, ready waiting like tigers to jump up. These have to be suppressed that the one idea which we want may arise to the exclusion of the others. Instead, they are all struggling to come up at the same time. These are the various powers of sanskaras in hindering concentration of the mind. So, this samadhi, which has just been given in the best to be practiced on account of its power of suppressing the sanskaras. The sanskara which will be raised by this sort of concentration will be so powerful that it will hinder the action of the others and hold them in check. Number 51. Tasyapi nirodhe sarva nirod nirbijah samadhi iti Patanjali virchite Yog Sutre Pratham Samadhi Padaha. By the restraint of even this impression which obstructs all other impressions, all being restrained, comes the seedless samadhi. Commentary on Sri Patanjali Yoga Sutra by Swami Vivekananda. You remember that our goal is to perceive the soul itself. We cannot perceive the soul because it has got mingled up with nature, with the mind, with the body. The ignorant man thinks his body is the soul. The learned man thinks his mind is the soul. But both of them are mistaken. What makes the soul get mingled up with all these different waves in the chitta rise and cover the soul? We only see a little reflection of the soul through these waves. So, if the wave is one of anger, we see the soul as angry. I am angry, one says. If it is one of love, we see ourselves reflected in that wave and say we are loving. If that wave is one of weakness and the soul is reflected in it, we think we are weak. These various ideas come from these impressions, these sanskaras covering the soul. The real nature of the soul is not perceived as long as there is one single wave in the lake of the chitta. This real nature will never be perceived until all the waves have subsided. So, first Patanjali teaches us the meaning of these waves. Secondly, the best way to repress them, and thirdly, how to make one wave so strong as to suppress all other waves. Fire eating fire as it were. When only one remains, it will be easy to suppress that also, and when that is gone, this samadhi or concentration is called seedless. It leaves nothing, and the soul is manifested just as it is in its own glory. Then alone we know then the soul is not a compound, it is the only eternal simple in the universe, and as such it cannot be born, it cannot die, it is immortal, indestructible, the ever living essence of intelligence. Hari Om Tat Sat.